Hi and welcome to the Beer Temple. I am Chris Quinn. Very fun show for you guys today. Going solo. The wife is visiting family on the East Coast, sadly. So next couple shows are probably going to be just me. Max may make an appearance or two, mainly just in an audible way. But yeah, she's going to be away. I would like to say that, you know, it doesn't faze me at all, but the truth of the matter is that within the hours of her leaving, I had locked myself and my dog out of the house in the middle of the night. So it was midnight and I was waiting for a locksmith to come. So that's how it pretty much right off the bat, Margaret and I always joke that when she leaves, we'll, you know, revert to like caveman status where I'm just like, you know, foraging for food and stuff. And it's pretty much true. And that's kind of a little story that's indicative of how it goes. A note about that, very interesting how easy it is for a locksmith to get into your house. 3 locks he had to pick because I live in a condo and there's a couple common areas. 3 minutes. 3 minutes the guy had him picked. And as Margaret noted, didn't ask for any proof that I actually lived here, didn't look for my driver's license or anything like that, just $100, see ya. So kind of interesting and scary. So he told me which of my locks was the good ones and which ones to use going forward, so I will do that. Moving on to the beer, we have the Ale Asylum from Madison, Wisconsin. Very small brewery. They pretty much are only available in Wisconsin and just, I think, certain parts of Wisconsin. And I've had them when I went up to Madison. I really think that's a great town, and it's also the location of the Great Taste of the Midwest, so I like to get up there a couple times a year. And they are known for their hoppy beers, at least that's what I know them for. And so I've got 3 of them. Last time I was in Milwaukee, I picked them up. They do distribute down to Milwaukee, and I figured I'd share them with you guys. Not a beer that you can really get too readily, so why not share it? They are in the process of expanding, though, or just recently have expanded, so maybe you guys will be seeing these guys shortly. First one I've got is their Ambergeddon. It's, and Ale Asylum has a lot of kind of death and I guess mental institution themes going on, so kind of cool. Anyway, Ambergeddon is an American amber ale. It's going to be a little bit hoppier than your traditional amber ale. A little note about that, this beer is the oldest of the 3. I was just checking the dates and it's about, yeah, it's like 4 months old, something like that, 4.5 months old. So it's not incredibly fresh, but it's also shouldn't be a problem, especially for this style. Maybe the hops would have dropped down a little bit. Nice kind of golden, kind of like a fried color, like a golden orange. Nice and clear, a little bit of head here. Appetizing looking beer. A real cereal nose on here, and almost like peanutty, like a payday, like those payday bars. So you get like that nuttiness, but also that undertone of like that caramel. That's what it smells like. It smells like a payday. In addition to that, there is some earthy hops. But man, it smells like peanuts. It smells like salted peanuts and caramel. Yeah. Kind of tastes like salted peanuts, like dusty peanut shells, you know? There's some definite hop flavor as well. It's kind of the woody, not quite pine, but like bark, wood, a little bit of earth, something like that. Definitely American style hops, but the more, not even quite resinous, you know, kind of earthy. It's a fine beer. It's quite sessionable. not really in you know, my wheelhouse of what I prefer. Trying to see how strong it is here, but I can't. You know, I gotta be honest, you know, ambers aren't my favorite. Oddly enough, I was thinking, some of you guys have asked about my home brew lately, and I was thinking about what to brew next, and I'm going a couple different ways. One is an amber, because I don't really like them, and I want to brew one that I think tastes good. So that's this is a fine beer. I'm gonna go 87 for it. Fine, nothing really wrong with it, but just not really hitting it for me. What is wrong with it? I guess lack of character, and I'm not sure if that's even fair, because that's kind of what an amber is. It's just a middle of the road, easygoing beer. You know, if you presented this to me at a bar and, you know, I was just kind of hanging out and there for the conversation, you know, I wouldn't complain. And, you know, that's kind of what this beer is for. Now, that said, this beer is also 4.5 months old. So when it's, you know, right off the bottling line, maybe it's a lot hoppier, and, you know, it's got a little bit more vibrant and pops a little more. So as it is, you know, 87, not my favorite beer. Certainly not my favorite beer from Asylum. All right, moving on. Next is a Bedlam, and Bedlam is a Belgian IPA. It is hopped with the ever so popular Citra hop. There we go. And this is another opener. I like this style. It doesn't crimp the caps. I'm a dork about that because I want to use the caps for something maybe or maybe not coming soon. So anyway, Bedlam. Belgian IPA. The Asylum references here with Bedlam. Bedlam is a insane asylum in England. I believe it's actually called Bethlehem, but kind of a bastardization of that is Bedlam. I just remember from the Christmas Carol, Scrooge says, "I'll retire to Bedlam." And I just thought he meant bed. I'll retire to bed. And my father would say, "No, it's an insane asylum." So shout out to my father. So let's see if he is actually watching his son's show. And if he is, he better leave a comment. So Bedlam, Belgian IPA. Lighter, still that orange color, lighter than the amber, I should say, and it should be. Really kind of brilliant golden orange, nice fluffy head on there as well, considering I didn't really pour that much. Pretty darn clear, you know, not crystal clear, but getting close to it. And yeah, just a nice golden orange. Definitely have Citra going on here. So Citra, to me, I get a lot of those tropical aromas from Citra hops. You know, mango is what I'm getting in this case. Mango with a little bit of like a funkiness to it, like a funky pineapple going on in there as well, which I like. Maybe a little bit catty. A little bit of kind of like a funky, yeah, like a BO or something like that. It smells kind of like a hoagie, like a sandwich shop in here. But I am one who will give all these horrible descriptors and then love the beer. You know, the nose might be a little off-putting for some people, but I really like it. I think what we're getting here is a combination of the Belgian yeast and the American hops, and it's really adding something more to, you know, that just what is the typical Citra hop aroma, which is awesome and, you know, popular for a reason. I mean, it smells really good. But yeah, this is really nice. I mean, anytime I sit there and smell a beer, you know, 6, 7, 8 times and keep coming up with new things, I like that. A little bit of like a cracked pepper going on as well. Yeah, and some like funky BO. On top of, you know, the piney mango type thing. There's a lot going on with this beer. they've really integrated the hop presence with the yeast presence very well. This is a style, Belgian IPAs, that I think too often are either one or the other. They're either just a Belgian beer or they're an IPA, and I really like to see the convergence of both of those elements to make a really good Belgian IPA. I think this definitely has it. And in fact, it's one of the more complex Belgian IPAs I've had in a while. The beer is about 3 months old, 3.5 months old. Yeah, like 3 months old. So you know, good and fresh. Again, not screaming fresh right off the bottle line, but fresh. And I certainly am happy with where the beer is standing now. So it's got a really nice kind of light mouthfeel to it. Just a little bit of residual sugars to give it some body. It's got, you know, not quite peppery, but you're just getting hints of kind of like a spicy, peppery note to it. And that goes really well with kind of that earth-driven, a little bit of that kind of funk undertone, and then the nice bright hops to kind of keep it light and lively as well, because you know you have spicy, funky, and you would think it's kind of like a deep beer, but no, it's really kind of a nice, vibrant beer in actuality. One that I could easily find myself drinking a couple of. And it's funny, it has a chaotic blend of Citra hops and Trappist-style yeast. Yeah, it's interesting. It is a chaotic blend, one that could certainly not have worked, but it did. I think they've got both these things dialed in pretty well, and I like this beer quite a bit. I'm going to go 93 with this beer. Really like the Bedlam. Impressive. In fact, I'll finish it. Yeah, it's nice. A little bit of that kind of Belgian bubblegum thing going on. It's nice. All right, and finally, this is the Hopalicious. This is their IPA. Very, very aggressively hopped. I believe it's completely, if not completely brewed with Cascade hops. Then all the late additions and dry hop additions are done with Cascade. Cascade, kind of the founding father, or one of the founding fathers of American pale ales. That is what Sierra Nevada Pale Ale uses for their aroma hop, and it's known for having a very distinct grapefruit aroma. And these guys, I think they said on the label, like 11 hop additions. Yeah, 11 separate editions of Cascade hops. So, lightest of the three. You're getting more into kind of the yellow here. Again, the beer's not filtered, but quite clear. Also the clearest of the three, and a nice thin layer of white foam, a little bit of fluffy foam, pretty small bubbles, nice looking. I'm getting a little bit of that peanutty quality. I wonder if that's coming from, you know, their grain bill. Maybe they share some similarities, or their house yeast maybe puts off some of those kind of nutty flavors. Probably more likely the house ale, the house yeast strain, because I didn't get it from the Bedlam, and that uses the Trappist yeast. This beer is also coming in about 3.5 months old. I'm getting a little bit of the hops, but you know, for something called Hopalicious, my guess is some of that dry hopping probably has dropped off from the nose in the time it's been sitting in my fridge and on the counter in the store I bought it from. Yeah, I'm getting more of kind of like an orange peel and some nice kind of nutty graininess. Okay, beer tastes a bit old. I think I'm starting to see some developments of oxidation here, but just hints. But the overall, the beer's nice, well balanced. I can definitely feel kind of some of those hops sitting in there, just kind of coating my mouth, but they're not that strong. I think it's died off a little bit. Nice easy drinker, and not overly bitter either. I think there's a nice balance between the malt. There is a nice amount of malt body and the bitterness here. The bitterness probably wouldn't have dropped off too terribly much within 3 months or so. The bitterness are the alpha acids. They're more stable than the essential oils of the hop, which are very unstable, and the oils are what contribute to the nose and hop flavor of a beer, and they're very volatile, and they can kind of break down over time, and I think that's happened here. It's a shame. I'm gonna go 85. That's tough. 86 for the Bedlam, or not Bedlam, the Hopalicious. I wish I had gotten these beers a little bit fresher. I think they could have shown themselves, especially a beer called Hopalicious. You really, really want to see what these guys can do. And I've had this beer in the past, and it's a little bit better, certainly better than that. But let's not. I'm still pretty happy because of the Bedlam, so not going to complain too much. In fact, I'll just pour myself a whole glass of that. Got an evening to myself. I am a loser. I have nothing to do tonight, so I'll probably just hang around, maybe watch a movie, and enjoy some Asylum beers. And that's about it, guys. Keep the comments coming in. I always appreciate it. One quick note, the winner of the little mini reference contest was Alan H. I mentioned that before, and I sent him out his beer today. Should I say what I sent, or should I? I'll let it be a surprise to Alan, and he can comment if he wants about it. So, cheers to Alan, and thanks to all you guys. Always appreciate it. Had a good time, even if the beers were a little lackluster. Certainly not this one. So I mean it when I say it. I've got some good beer to drink, and hopefully you do too.